lives, all of us. I'm a person, and it's good to have access to the infinite consciousness that is available to all people, but through the five senses is delineated, keeping us trapped on a material plane. We think reality is what we can apportion through the limited instruments of the senses, but reality is, of course, far beyond that. Spiritual data.
Russel Brand has one of the most masterful abilities to communicate his experience I've ever seen. So we found some of his most vulnerable, authentic moments where he beautifully illustrates the experience he's had with God. It will make you think twice about life. Just listen.
I believe in God. I believe God to be the limitless consciousness, of which my own tiny little consciousness is but a part, that beneath my identity as an individual, my biochemical reactions, my memories, my impulses, is a witness, and that this limitless witness is probably no different to what you feel. I'm not saying that you and I are not different. You might be from, I don't know, Detroit or Colchester or Mumbai or Saudi Arabia or anywhere really. You might be from the next house to the one I grew up in and be really, really different from me. Geez, look at siblings. I've got a couple of them. They're very different from one another. But my belief is that consciousness itself is one. David Lynch, God love him, said that their Sanskrit form is one line and the characters come from the one line. This is the, what does he call it? The unified field, and all forms come from the unified field. Everything coming from oneness. I believe that as they go deeper into the microscopic world, they will discover, hold on a minute, everything is one. It's all interconnected. It's all just one thing, vibrating at different speeds, or some sort of weird holographic revelation that we're bursting through a membrane into this frequency, that the unmanifest is all about us, waiting to be born. Now, how does that relate to sort of the principles of religion or spirituality, such as kindness? Well, if we're all one, we might as well be nice to each other. If we're all one, there's no sense competing with one another. Even when you look at an idea such as social Darwinism, derived from the theories of evolution, or the theory of evolution, although there were two, weren't there, because there was two people doing it simultaneously, more or less, that evolution itself is a force that's heading in a direction of what we could term progress, but is actually probably just movement towards efficiency. Why efficiency? Efficiency for what? Why life? Why live? What is this force that's making single cellular beings split, divide, grow, move for all those things, those graphs and that we've all seen, from fish to frog, from frog to whatever? You know, we all know the drill, don't we? What's driving this forward? Why? Why is consciousness interacting with environment in order to form more efficient machines? Some people go, there doesn't need to be a why, and that's completely up to them. But godlessness, the belief that there, or nihilism, let's call it, for like it's a less sort of divisive or troubling term. Godlessness leads to not a world. It doesn't feel right, does it? A world of competition, of crushing, of artifice, of superficiality. The options that start to occur when you believe you are an individual in limitless space that began with a bang that was preceded by nothing, that's flooding, sprawling into a limitless nowhere. It doesn't feel good. Now, just because something don't feel good, that's not a reason to deny it as a possibility. But given the fact that you can't prove that there is no limitless intelligent consciousness creating all material phenomena and providing us with these sort of conditions, these peculiar mathematical conditions, natural conditions, physical conditions that somehow make sense to us, there's no point in denying it just for the sake of it, just to be obtuse and difficult. Not when love and beauty and glory feel so good. I say this: act as if there is a God, and there is one. In the book of Job, when the higher self, the Yahweh, challenges the lower self, Job, the higher self, Yahweh, the God self, tests the flesh self to see if it can connect with some deeper principles. Yahweh, the highest self, shows Job, here are the behemoth and the leviathan that I have made as I have made thee, the animal mammalian self, the dumb staring sexual self, the appetite, the stomach, the thing that just wants to eat, the leviathan, the unconscious lizard self. It is possible for us to be dumb animals. It is possible for us to be unconscious, but it is also possible for us to be loving. Maybe if we are not loving, then there is no love. Maybe it is our job to create a God of love here on earth by being loving, precisely because if we don't act that way, then there isn't. Wave, particle, possibly both, possibly neither, infinite possibilities. Act as if love is everything. Act as if kindness is everything. Act as if we are all one, and see if that becomes our reality. Or, there might be something good on the telly. Maybe the sneakers will work for you. Maybe the next phone you get will be the answer, or the next relationship. Maybe. But I don't think so. Hello, I'm doing these new videos more frequently now. Please hit the notification button at the end of this video, because then you'll get a little bell when I post a new video, and I'd like you to get a little bell when I post a video. Then I can, I don't know, be buzzing away in your pocket. Sounds like I'd be like a little pocket mosquito. Anyway, subscribe, click the bell, because I want more people to watch the YouTube videos. You specifically.
Terence McKenna, a kind of wacky shaman fella, said that the perspective of contemporary science is give us one free miracle and we'll explain the rest. That free miracle being that the universe sprang into being with these exact rules that are required for life and consciousness to exist. I suppose what Christianity and Islam and Judaism and Hinduism and Jainism and Buddhism are trying to do is make sense of our position, our perspective as awake, conscious, sentient beings within the infinite. For me, as a person who believes in God, my understanding of God is this, that my consciousness emanates from a perspective, and it passes through endless filters, the filters of the senses, the subjective filters of the senses and of my own biography. This is good, this is bad, this is wrong, I want that, I don't want that. But behind all of that, there is an awakeness, an awareness that sees it all, and it's in you too, and it's in Stephen Fry, and it's in the man that was interviewing him. It's in all of us, an awakeness, an interconnectivity. None of us can ever know if there is a God, but we do know there is an us. None of us can ever know if there's wrong or right, but we do know there is an us. Amma, the hugging saint, you look at her here, learn more about her here. Amma said, the question's not, is there a God? The question is there suffering? Yes, there is suffering, and what can we do about suffering? We can help one another, and we can love one another. Now, if you can do that through atheism, then do it through atheism. But a lot of people need to know that this is temporary, that we are the temporary manifestation of something greater, something complete and whole, something timeless and spaceless and absolute. And every dogma in the world has been trying to tackle and understand that. Art has been trying to represent it. Science has been trying to explain it. And no one can. We are up against the parameters. And I believe that without embracing something spiritual, something whole, something beyond human thought, we have no chance of saving ourselves and saving the planet. We are all connected to consciousness. We are all connected to one another. And to me, that sounds a little bit like God. That is some true news. Or is it true? What is the nature of truth? Is there any true news? Maybe this isn't even true news. Oh no.
That's the thing that'll be complicated, because I know the thing is with a lot of people that are like our natural tribal allies of the left are clever folks that are well into the atheism. For me, look, God is not something that's about thinking you're better than someone or a reason to have a war with someone. It's that within us, beneath and beyond our identity as human beings, driven by fear and desire, defined by the realm of the senses and the material self, which is transitory, there is a divine self that is connected to all living things, that is part of an infinite source of creativity. You could probably describe that using quantum physics or science if you want. I choose to believe in God because I think what that is the recognition that there is divine beauty in all of us, and if we prioritize that over our own selfish material needs, then we will naturally create a culture more in harmony with our planet, and we'll have a chance.
How much of your political beliefs come from your spiritual beliefs? People talk about New Age philosophy, and you subscribing to all sorts of different things.
All come from spiritualism. Because what is socialism other than, we're all just here together, just share, what's the point? I got carried away for a minute. I thought that my haircut was more important than other people's, living space. But I recognise, it's through spiritual practice that I've recognised that my own impermanence, my own irrelevance, the fact that I'm just a person shuffling through life, I ain't really no different now from when I was a little kid. And all I want really is I don't want that feeling in my stomach that people are being treated badly. I don't want a feeling that people are being exploited. I can't live with it. And that's a sort of a spiritual idea. I don't myself, I know you're a Muslim, I don't go in for them particular, I like those different books to guiding you through different ways of believing. I love the old Hinduism, for example. I think the Sikhs have got loads of good gear. I think they're all saying the same thing. Be nice. Be nice. It don't have to get all convoluted and complicated. It doesn't have to be a source for
What do you think about? Do you follow people? Do you follow the writings and views of people like Richard Dawkins, who says religion is evil?
I think you know him. Like you're English, you lot. You remember in Bagpuss, Professor Yaffle. Like every week, that they bring a new thing into that shop, and Professor Yaffle rubbishes it. Oh, that's nothing. That's not a boat. It's just an old shoe. Like I think but Richard Dawkins is like that. He just wants to dismiss and diminish and take the magic and mysticism. Anything that we're describing through science, we're describing through the prism of the 5 limited senses. Our eyes can only see between infrared light and ultraviolet light. There's light bouncing around everywhere. Our ears can only hear a tiny decibel range, can't hear the noise of a dog whistle, can't hear any high-pitched frequency sounds. Isn't it likely then that there are other vibrations, frequencies, energies, consciousness moving through the universe? Like Einstein himself said, when asked if he was religious, well, I believe there are forces in this universe that I will never understand, and I hold these forces in great reverence, and to that degree I am religious. Now you could take that as being an atheistic statement, but for me that's like an acceptance that as human beings we are mere temporary custodians of this beautiful planet, and we should behave accordingly with regard and with love. It ain't complicated.